We know Chinese radicals are magical. Did you know there are 214 in total? But don't let that number overwhelm you. Follow along as I'm going to show you which ones we should tackle first. Remember, it's about working smart, not just hard. They call it learning, we say it's fun. Welcome to Fun Mandarin 玩中文。大家好, I'm Bryan. In our last episode, we've seen how Chinese radicals work their magic to make recognizing and memorizing the meanings of characters much easier. In order to identify the most powerful ones among hundreds of them, it's important to first understand the feature of Chinese writing system. A Chinese character in Mandarin, which we call 字, is the basic unit of the written form of the language. A single character typically represents a single syllable and carries its meaning. Every character must have a radical. Some radicals are not just components of a character, but can also function as standalone characters themselves. For these characters, let's call them 部首字, such as 人, 口, 女, and 日. That is to say, if we know these 部首字, we not only know them as radicals, but also have more useful characters we can use right away to form new characters and even words. Did I just say word? When talking about words in Chinese, there's something important to remember. While some single characters can be meaningful words, many Chinese words are actually made out of multiple characters. We call these compound words 词. Take one of the 部首字 for example. 人 is a radical, a character, and a standalone word that means person. Besides serving these roles, when combined with other characters, it can form other compound words, such as 人民, 人口, 家人, and 大人. Isn't it amazing?
Wow!
Through this example, we absolutely want to prioritize our time on powerful radicals like 人. Therefore, we're going to rank the power of radicals based on 3 criteria. Firstly, the radical should be helpful for identifying other characters. In other words, are there many characters that include this radical? Secondly, after learning this 部首字, is it much easier to grasp the structure of other new characters for writing? That is to say, is the character formation rate high? For example, the radical 目 is used in various character structures, as seen in these characters. 目 can fit into different structural relations, including the right, the left, the top, and the bottom. Last but not least, is the radical's word formation rate high in modern Chinese? And are the form words important or closely related to daily life? So, based on these criteria, we can rank the radicals in this tier list. S stands for superior, so S tier includes the most powerful radicals everyone should start with because they fully meet all criteria. Following that, the radicals are ranked from A to D tier, with A being the next most powerful and D being the least powerful. If you have a good grasp of the radicals from B tier and above, you will remarkably advance in your reading and writing skills. In this episode, we will be focusing on the radicals in the S tier first. Instead of memorizing them by stroke order, I group them into different categories as it's even easier to remember. The first category is person and body parts. Here we've got 女, 人, 子, 口, 目, 心, 手, 足. All of them are standalone characters. It's important to know that 人, 心, and 手 have variant forms, which we'll call radical variant, 变形部首. If you take a look at these radical variants shown in brackets, you can easily tell the radical variants might look a bit different from the regular form, but they have the same meaning and function in characters. we usually see their variant forms when they are used as radicals to combine with other components to form new characters. The next category is nature and elements. The first 5 are coincidentally the 5 elements also known as 五行 in Chinese philosophy. It refers to the 5 fundamental elements that are believed to constitute all things in the universe. They are 金, 木, 水, 火, 土. For 金, when used as an independent word, meaning gold, it is written the same in traditional and simplified Chinese. But when it is used as a radical to referring to metal, can you tell the simplified form is slightly different from traditional Chinese? After 5 elements, we have 日, 山, 田, 石, 玉, 竹, 雨. Please pay a bit more attention to 玉 and 竹. Again, these 2 部首字 are standalone words and have the same writing in both traditional and simplified Chinese. But when combined with other components, we should use them in their variant forms. The next category is animals. 牛, 马, 鸟, 鱼. 牛 is the only 部首字 that has variant form, but except for 牛, 马, 鸟, and 鱼 are written a bit differently in simplified Chinese. Coming up, here are 2 important verbs, 食 and 言. Interestingly enough, when these 2 standalone words are combined as a compound word, 食言, it means someone is breaking a promise or failing to fulfill commitments. As you can see, whether they function as 2 independent words or a compound word, the traditional and simplified forms are identical. However, when they are part of other characters, the traditional forms almost stays the same, while the simplified form changes slightly. In the last category, I group all the nouns together. They are 门, 车, 衣, 米, 肉, 力, 刀. Clearly, 米, 肉, 力, and 刀 are the same in both traditional and simplified forms. 门 and 车, highlighted in blue, is traditional Chinese, while their simplified forms are in green. 衣, 肉, and 刀 have variant forms, so please be aware. If you have made it here, congrats! I'm giving out a bonus tip. Yay! We can use the radicals to create a story to help us remember them. I'll show you an example. Let's say the noun category. We have these radicals. Here's my story. Open the door, hop in the car, buy new clothes, some rice, meat, and a powerful knife. The story might sound silly, but who cares? As long as it does the trick and help us remember. You can certainly mix radicals from different categories to make your own memorable stories. So, after this episode, I believe you have better understanding of the Chinese writing system, knowing the difference between 字 and 词. Most importantly, through the 3 criteria, you can spot the most powerful radicals you should focus on first, rather than just pick them up randomly or working hard on the least important ones. Now, I encourage you to take on today's challenge. If you just started your Mandarin journey, you can write down all the radicals in the S tier. Then, circle the radicals you are not familiar with. Make a plan with timeline to memorize them. For example, you can tackle 1 category per week. If you completed this challenge, or you're already an intermediate learner, take on this challenge. Use any of the Chinese reading text available to you, maybe from your textbook or print out a web page on the internet. Spot and circle any characters in the text that have the radicals from S tier. Then, practice forming characters with the radicals in the S tier. For example, you may start with the category person and body part. Write down the characters you can form using person radical, such as 你, 他, and 姓. This application practice will surely take your Chinese to the next level. Spoiler alert! In our next episode of this series, I'm gonna show you how to use the S-tier radicals to construct more characters and compound words. If you are interested in knowing more, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below, sharing how many radicals in the S-tier you already know with the hashtag magical radical. Thanks for watching Fun Mandarin 玩中文. I'll see you in the next video. 我们下次见。